Everyone's inside? It went silent really fast, isn't it? Okay. Hello everyone. So everyone can hear me? Loud and clear? Had a good break? Everything sorted? Yeah? Shall we begin? So I am going to talk about thinking in Agile, or thinking Agile, right? Thinking in Agile sounds good. So who am I? Before that, forget who am I. I'll tell you a story, okay? I'll tell you two instances. One where Agile ruined the project. One where Agile helped the project. I won't say ruined, but I'll just tell you the story, okay? So this was like a couple of years back. I don't know the exact date, but we had a nice 15 sprint. We had nice 15 sprints, no stopping, no breaks, nothing. Everything was smooth like a well-oiled machine. 4 people here in UK, 3 guys in India. We had a testing team, a functional test who were sitting with us, eating with us, but they knew what we were building. They knew what they had to test. They did everything. End of 15 sprint. Now, that's where we had to get some sort of sign off from the client. Okay, we are done. Everything is working. It's tested. We have done the code reviews. It's working fine. From us, this is it. Okay? But for them to go live, so from there to their go live, for them to actually use it, they had to, satisfy some upper management, and they had to run a bunch of reports and stuff like that. Fine. End of 15th sprint. We congratulated everyone. Let's go for drinks. We told the India team, you celebrate, we'll sponsor, don't worry about it. Have fun, go for the weekend. Monday morning, I walk into the office. Now, I know that there is no workload for me. I'm not expecting anything. So I didn't check my machine. I was just roaming around. I was just, okay, fine. 11 o'clock, I log in to Rally. 136 defects. Okay, that's unexpected. Okay, the functional test guy was just sitting up next to me. But then this guy who had raised the defects, I'd never heard of him before. Okay, I didn't know he was in a Rally. I didn't know he had access to the project. Okay, so as this functional test guy, who is this? What are these defects? I said, okay, let me open the first one. The first defect was the required red symbol on Salesforce. Everyone has seen that, right? Anyone who has not seen Salesforce ever before? Okay, cool. Apparently the test guy. The red bar on the required field was not being captured in his screen reader. He was doing screen reading test. He ran a script, 136 errors. Okay. I'm confused. Who is this guy? So I asked the project guy, I walked down to, I found out where he sits. Now where he sat was, we were on the 4th floor. I had to, actually I'm not making this up. I had to walk down all the way to the basement, walk all the way across in the next building. There was a 7-member team, and they are like, yes sir. I'm like, what are these defects? No, you gave us a system to test, so we are testing it for the usability and other things, so we have the scripts and we are running it. I said, all right, fine. So then we created a profile where you can have this, which is screen reader friendly, and then we ran the same test again. 15 minutes, it was just a script, we pressed a button. Out of 136, 100 defects gone. Oh, good sir, you're fast. No, that's Salesforce. Oh yes, I wanted to talk to you. It's a very nice system you have built. Yes, I built Salesforce yesterday. The point is, this guy was sitting there about to test something. He had no idea what is Salesforce. He had no idea who the team was. He had no idea anything at all. Now, if we had been aware of this guy, if we had known what he was about to do, we would have maybe given him better knowledge. We would have told him what to test, what not to test. And that is one point where Agile comes into picture. I'm going to discuss that further, right? So the point is, this guy was completely aloof from what we were building. He had no idea. He just had a mechanical script, ran that, raised the defects. Now everybody here knows we cannot do anything about the required field, can we? On an account page or a contact page, right? For him, it was a defect. So that's where the point comes in. If we have to think Agile, we have to first identify who are the players. We have to first identify who are the people. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to tell you how Agile works. I mean, everybody in this room knows about Agile, right? Anyone who has not used Agile? Okay, so everybody has used Agile. I'm not going to talk about the process. I hate process. I'm the last guy who will talk about process, okay? So, let's begin. I just have some slides. Some of them are slides, some of them are not. I'm just going to zip through them and just going to talk about most of it. Right, so who am I? For those who don't know me, I'm Siddhesh Kabe. Currently, I'm at Cognizant. I'm a technical architect. But if you don't know me, if you don't know Siddhesh, you must have heard of Salesforce.media. That's my Twitter handle. That's where I am everywhere on the community. I hide behind that. Yeah, and that's also my website. So, what is today's agenda? I'm going to talk. What is traditional software development? I'm just going to crib about it for like 2 minutes. Okay, why traditional software fails, why it doesn't work, what was the Agile manifesto? How many here actually use Agile? Please, a show of hands. How many of you have read the Agile manifesto? Cool, some hands went down, some are there. Cool, so that's the whole point, right? So I'm going to discuss about the manifesto. I'm going to talk about a few things about Agile and etc, etc, etc. Right, so we have already, we've been doing this for a long time now, right? Anyone here who doesn't know what is waterfall? We know this. It's a traditional software development model. So basically when the software industry was starting, when this whole idea of building a software came into picture, the people who were designing this process of building a software were thinking about building a house. What do you do in building a house? You gather the requirements, you get an architect, you build a blueprint, you get some construction workers, you start building it brick by brick, we build a house, right? It's the most common method. It goes through stages. Each stage has its own entry point, exit point. Each stage generates a bunch of documents, right? I hate those documents, okay? Anyone here who loves those documents? Anyone who ever read the whole requirement document that comes through?
Yes, unfortunately.
Oh, you did that? Okay, cool. I tried it once. I slept half of it, so I didn't understand at all. But okay, but anyways, I will tell everyone that I did read it. So, quickly, the problem with waterfall model, right? Requirements keep changing. Anyone you are having a good experience of the requirements that you received on day one were the same thing that you deployed? No? Never. Never happens. They keep on changing. There will be misunderstandings to the extreme level. The higher up the management, the bigger the misunderstandings, the bigger the problems that you face, right? You will never understand in the first go. Never. The first requirement document that you receive, you will have a follow-up, you'll always go back. And then suddenly there's a new management. Suddenly someone wants something new. 8 months down the line and they suddenly want to change their entry screen. What do you do, right? So there is no scope. Once in the traditional model, once you go through the requirements, you never go back, right? That doesn't work. Now this is actually what I'm supposed to do. I don't know if I do this, but design. Then you have this some fat pompous guy coming in. I'm the technical architect. This is your requirement. Let me build your system, right? We design the system based on the requirements. Go back to the client, give us a sign-off. Now the guy who gives you the sign-off never reads your design doc. He just says, okay, that's fine, just take it. If you amount more pressure, he gives it immediately. If you don't amount enough pressure, he takes 2 weeks on it. He never reads it, just sends it back. Yeah? Again, the designing is a costly affair. You have everything planned out. This is where you will go. This is the direction you will take. There is no room for moving on, right? There is no room. Now, at this point, you still, if you can change a requirement, you can do that. It is just a bit boring, right? Development. It's too long, right? If you look at traditional software, right? Before Salesforce, I used to work in the Microsoft team. The projects, the minimum length would be like 8 years, 9 years. Why? Why would you want to have a, like from the first requirement to the entire end, it would take them like 8 years, 9 years. Companies were happy. Companies were happy, the developers were not. Companies are very happy with this long duration project, but the developers are not. It's too complex. And then, now you might have a different experience, but in the traditional model, development is a black hole. The management has no idea what you're building. Try explaining it to them. That's not their job to understand what you're developing. Right? They will be totally confused. And, okay, I'm just stirring something here. Developers are very poor testers. Agree, disagree? Oh, agree. Okay, cool. Yeah, developers are very poor tester. Anyone who says we don't have a test person on the team, say, okay, the developers are going to test their own code. Congratulations. Yeah? And then testing, our favorite bit. That's my favorite bit. But then, what testing? Most of the projects, what testing? If it's a consulting project, you will never find who is the test guy. Because by the time you have given them the project for testing, the project is already 8 months, way more than it should be. Their testing time is already sucked into your development time. And they have a very less time to understand the requirements, build a test plan, execute the test plan, and then give you a report that it's working or not working. Most of the time, and this is most of the time, they will only manage to execute, and this is the manual testing bit I'm talking about, will only manage to execute only 50% of the test cases. Right? And this last thing, one of my best test manager actually told me this. She was just asked one day to sign on the dotted line that it has been tested. She was told to put her job on the line because if something breaks in the production, it was she who had given the sign off because they had no time or the budget to test. That's bad. Do you agree? Yeah? Everyone agrees, right? Anyone having some different thoughts over this?
I would say that developers should test more. And in a proper Agile team, I would expect developers to test their stuff. Not just unit test, functional test.
True. We are coming to the Agile team. This is the traditional model. Things are for them, fitting their day job in 8 hours is already a big, heavy task, right? So that's where the summary comes in. It is a good approach. It is a working approach. It's been there for like last century or something. I don't know how old it is. People have been building software. They have developed successful software. Microsoft is a good example of this, right? But you still find a blue screen of death. Even in today's Microsoft software, you can actually break it. Apple fans, you can still break your Apple Macs. If you don't believe me, I'll break it. Give it to me. Okay? These all softwares, they were not built on Agile. They used a traditional model. The problem is the process is risky, not the technology. When Google came into, so my first experience with Agile was with Gmail. How many of you got those Gmail with the invite only mode? It was like the first 50 or 60 users. So I was one of those, right? I got into like first 100 users or something. And the first thing that you notice in Gmail was like we walk in, Gmail beta. That's a bold move. A company is releasing beta version live. You never knew what it is back then. Since then, from then to today, Gmail has been going through iterations every 2 weeks. They've removed the beta now, that's just for the marketing, but you still get new features. You still have Google Labs. Yeah, you still have some cool features that you've never seen before. And suddenly they're there, out there, right? So, now is the time for an important question. Have you seen anyone build a house on time? Okay, let's change it a bit. Have you seen anyone build a software on time? Yeah? Okay, so February 2001, I just Googled this, okay? I don't know about this, but 17, so I wanted to know who started this Agile thing. I actually got a picture if you guys want to search them. So, February 2001, 17 people got in the room together. Now that's the problem. When you get geeks in the room together, they usually do something drastic and scary, yeah? So they decided, how are we going to fix these problems? 17 people, 17 geeks, they start thinking, they start writing, they summarize their whole thing, what they were doing. Probably there was a manager on the back somewhere, just give me a report what you did. They wrote few lines that came to be known for the wide world as the Agile Manifesto. They didn't create a process, they didn't tell you what to do, they just created a process, they just created a manifesto. A manifesto that I believe everyone, every developer, every tester, every person who will be in 200 meters of any software has to know, right? We focus on individuals and interactions over process and tools. Forget the process. The guy who raised 136 defects was going through the process. He tested, he wasted his time, he wasted my time, just to test something that would never be fixed. If he had interacted, if he had spoke to us, if he had known what it was, that problem could have been avoided, right? And my Monday would have not been ruined for that reason. We want a working software, something that you can see rather than something you can read. Right? And this is happening in a lot of my projects, right? So you go with the design and then this is how it's going to be. Can you add some screenshots or some screen, can you do some mock-ups? Mock-ups, it's their favorite word. Better, I'll give you a demo. You can do that? 2 weeks, I can give you a demo. Then they see the demo and they're like, okay, can we change this? Can we change this? And that's where you get the real requirements, what they actually want. We build working software over comprehensive documents. We build customer collaboration over contract negotiations. I hate those negotiations. I hate those big fat documents. I don't know if anybody likes it, but I hate them personally. We would like to talk to the customer. The customer should be part of the development team. You don't understand it? That's fine. Find someone who does, who you trust, send him over. Let him sit with us. Let him see what we are building. At the end of the day, let him give us a suggestion, right? When the customer is part of your team, you can actually build much better software, right? And that is the most important point, responding to change. The thing about building a house is, you don't change much too often, unless the government slaps a notice on you. You don't go way different. Today there will be a 3 BHK. We had space, we just built 5 BHK. Now, that's not how it's going to work. In software, however, at every stage there will be change. And in Agile Manifesto believes that we better respond to change rather than just stick to a plan. Right? Any questions so far? Oh, cool.
My background is BA, so I'm very focused on words and language, and I've also had experience with a lot of Agile projects, including Agile and Salesforce.
Yeah.
It's just a focus on the instead of and rather than. So it's not so much a substitution of one for the other. And this goes back to the original Agile Manifesto, which this is more important than that.
Yes.
Say, for instance, worst case scenario, you take out the processes, the tools, the documents, the negotiations, and the sticking with a plan, that Agile project will try to choose if there's nothing on
True. True.
So it's a priority, not
Exactly. No, true. So most of the projects, and especially this is very true in consulting, if you're into consulting, Agile as such does not 100% work, right? And that's why I'm emphasizing Agile. We do not, so first of all, we do not focus on the process. So we also do not focus on the Agile process, right? It's more about individual contribution. So it's more about, the point that I'm trying to make is it's more about a trust. Obviously there will be a plan, obviously there will be a negotiation. We cannot sleep without them. Come on, everybody loves a contract negotiation. You cannot sleep peacefully without them. If there is no comprehensive documentation, if the client doesn't give a sign off, they can come back complaining, right? So yes, that is important too. But the things that are more important is the trust, is the collaboration. And that's the key point here, right?
Sorry, can I ask a question? So,
Yes.
so it's related to the same thing, which is, in terms of expectations of the outcome with the client, how do you set those expectations? Because they kind of tie into things like contracts and budgets and their internal processes. Because I think, I love this, and I think we all agree with this, but the challenge that we have is how do you frame all this into a commercial agreement
Right.
that everybody at the end of the process can say, yes, that was delivered.
Right. So in that case, so there is always a constraint of the budget. There is always a whole planning stage that goes in, right? And then now you have the team on board, right? So that's where your entire process changes, right? Instead of having, so basically when you have this whole negotiation and contracts and budgets and everything done, you start onboarding a team. Now the team, instead of getting them their whole requirement from day one, you start splitting it into different requirements. You're splitting it into different features, and the team starts working on the features and start delivering it. There'll be a show and tell with the client managers in between. They see what you have built, and subsequently, now as I said in my first example, we had 15 sprints. That means we had 15 show and tells, right? Now those show and tells were not just like presenting, it was interactive. You don't like something? Tell us. We'll think over it. We'll put that in the backlog. Can we do it? Can't we do it? If we can't do it, we tell you right then and there. We have your expectations. We know what they want. We know what they want, and we really know why they want to change, right? So that's where the feature comes in. Instead of them seeing the final software, they be part of your team from the beginning. That's how it works, really. Yeah.
One comment. In terms of procurement, if you're asking about that, then you can tie it to a tangible outcome. You could say, if you manage to decrease or increase some KPI, or increase your average handle time by, decrease by 20 seconds or something, that's a tangible outcome. So you don't have to know all the detailed requirements. But if you tie it to a tangible outcome and you measure the project and the payment as well to that.
Okay, but I would counter that and say that depends on you understanding what the detailed requirements are at the beginning. And I don't think this process gives you that until you're into the process.
Yes.
Yeah, but the business will not come with detailed requirements, they will come with the outcome. What it need delivered. Improvement of customer experience, increased sales, decreased average handle time, something like that. They don't think in terms of individual requirements. They think of the strategic outcome they wish to achieve. You get tied to that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so shall we? Yeah. So everybody knows what this is. Like with waterfall model, you deliver a big chunk of thing at one time, right? Now, essentially, if you have been developing software for the last couple of years, or I'll say last 5 years, you have already started Agile. Right? So a lot of the model is not Agile, but it's a hybrid version of Agile. So it's a bit of that, it's a bit of this, and mixed together. So we actually do a lot of, in Salesforce especially, we actually do a lot of these things, right? We build features instead of building a single product, right? And as I said, you involve your customer into your journey, so they know where you are, they know where you lack, they know your problems, they know why there is a backlog, they know exactly where the software is. They are paid a lot. They are aware where the software is. So if somebody from their management asks them a question, they are ready to answer it because they have already seen it with you, right? So this is just for information. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't know half of them. I've used Scrum and Kanban. If you want to go into detailed discussion, we can have it offline because that will take a lot of time. But basically, if you go to a prescriptive model, there are more rules to follow. Okay, I've heard of only few teams that actually use RIP and XP, right? A lot of them prefer Scrum, few prefer Kanban, right? So that's why most of, so I've used only these two, especially. There are others that even Google have their own Agile methodology and all. But this is just for information. I just Googled it in the morning because I wanted to know what else is there on Agile. Yeah? But, skip this. This is the slide I like. The same waterfall model that we saw turned into Agile, right? The same waterfall model. This becomes a bit of a hybrid approach, best of both worlds. You don't gather requirements in one go. You start gathering requirements again and again. This process is continuous. So you gather the next requirement rather than the whole product, right? You design in smaller chunks. So if you gather small requirements, you actually get to focus more on the design. You can actually build it better. You can actually focus on the font. You've seen Facebook, right? Facebook, you've seen this Facebook logo? I was told, and I Googled this, I don't know if it's true, that guy took 4 weeks just to align that logo. The developer was there. That's what he wanted to do that sprint. That's what he was assigned to do. Get that logo in that position. 4 weeks. Because they built everything in chunks, they had the time to actually do that to the perfection, right? Some people won't see that perfection, it will be waste of time, but it was actually perfection. That guy is very passionate, he has given a TED talk on it, about the logo. Okay. With small chunks, you can develop much faster, you can maintain the code faster, you know what you're building, you know what is testing. Now, testing will also be part of your team. So they are testing on your smaller chunk. They know what everything becomes predictable. You keep on upgrading your code again and again, adding new features, right? And testers get time to test. A lot of my testers are happy with this. Yeah, testers get time to test. They get time to break the system, identify the bugs. The bugs again go into your backlog. You start clearing out the backlog. Now this process increases your backlog. It increases the work, but this starts reducing, the backlog starts reducing as you go further. So as you go near the go live, the backlog starts reducing, and you actually have a very comprehensive system. But then in Agile, after test, you go back to retrospect, you think what's wrong, what has gone wrong, what has gone right, you appreciate what is right, you take feedback on what is wrong, try to focus towards your MVP, yeah? Anyone here hates what is MVP?
Sorry?
Anyone here hates what is MVP? I have a couple of clients, whenever I use the word MVP, don't talk about MVP, just shut up. But MVP is good. MVP is you give them what they want, the least possible thing that they want, better. They can see something, they can show something. They also are accountable to someone. Everyone is accountable to someone. They actually get to show it to the management why we are paying this guy money. This is why we are giving him money, right? So MVP is important, minimum viable product. They are happy, you are happy. Some of them are not happy, but that's for a different day. And then you take suggestions, you show them what you're building, you show them, and then you take the feedback and you move on. But then, where do you move on? You go back to the requirements, you go back to the backlog, you see what's next. And this process keeps on repeating, keeps on repeating, keeps on repeating. We are actually implementing this we are actually building a project with this process. There are requirement sessions, user story discussions every Tuesday. We give a demo on Thursday. Next Tuesday, we take the next requirement. This thing keeps on going and going and going. Okay? At the end of it, you have a very big product ready even before you finish discussing all your requirements. Make sense? Cool. Shall we move on? Okay. Where are we going? Okay. Quickly, I don't want to take a lot of time, just within a minute we'll just zip through this. How you achieve this? You have a product owner, a guy who had an idea, hey, I want this product, it's a very huge product, right? You took him to a sprint planning session. You split that product into smaller chunks. In sprint planning, you build it into smaller chunks. You separate out the features that could be worked on independently, features that were dependent on others. So the features that were independent, you start working on them first, right? From sprint planning, you created a backlog. This is your time limit. This is what you have to build within that time limit. You have a scrum master, usually the guy with the whistle. He assigned those tasks to you, probably in discussion with the product manager and the project manager. You have the development team. They walk in on a Monday. They know what they are going to do. If they don't, they will ask. They have very smaller chunks to do. They don't have a big list of things. They will discuss. They will start developing. Now that's where the sprint execution comes in.
I would just say that Scrum Master ideally wouldn't give tasks to people. He would let himself organize. He would direct them rather than assign them. He's not managing the project, he's just guiding hands.
You did Scrum Master, right? You're a Scrum Master. I'm not. I'm just the guy who teaches the Scrum Masters. Yeah, but yes, it's true. So, okay. So who assigns a task? Project manager?
It's usually self-organized.
Okay, so
you let developers decide about themselves because you trust them.
Really?
Until you figure out that you cannot.
I'm going to have a word with my Scrum Master tomorrow. But yeah, so you basically assign the task, but you know what the tasks are. You start executing those tasks, right? Now these are smaller chunks that are being built continuously. Now you have daily stand-ups. Now stand-up is a word I heard around, I think, 4 years back when I was at Salesforce. What is a stand-up? And my manager says, stand-up, that's a stand-up. Right? That's it. You stand up, you stand together, you huddle together, you discuss your entire, you can say your entire thing, your 8 hours of work squeezed into three simple statements. What did you do? What are you going to do? And do you have any problems? That's it. You know what you're going to say. Those are 3 simple questions. Nobody's even asking you what other questions are. Nobody wants to understand the Big Bang Theory from you. Just 3 simple questions. You come prepared, you answer, you move on. It doesn't work that easily. If someone here has a pop idea in their head, this doesn't happen in a stand-up, something different happened, but this is ideally what it should happen. And then, now this is a dream version of it, but then at some point, you actually get a potentially shippable product. I actually had a photo frame as a shippable product. Something that they can actually start using, right? And this is I'll give you a live example. We actually built the knowledge first. We actually help them go live with knowledge so that their users get an experience of what Salesforce is, right? So they could plan their training, they could plan their everything based on the screens that they see. You go to the review, you review whatever has happened, and then you go to a retrospective where you understand what went wrong, what could you improve, and you start improving, and then you move to the next bit. Simple cycle. So think about it from a cycling perspective. I actually love this deck. Anyone here played planning poker? Okay. So planning poker, basically you assign the number to the task that you have. So you see a task, you choose from the picture. Is it a piece of cake? Are they asking you for an arm and a limb? What is it? Each picture has a number associated to it. You show that number. So my theory is, if the task is more than 5, don't do it. Break it down, break it down, break it down, till you get tasks which are as easy as 3, as easy as 2. Yeah? This is designed by a company called Red Boot. It's Red Booth. It's available to buy. If you want, you can download a PDF and print it for your own planning poker. I've got my in the shipping. Yeah? Okay, so I'm just going to summarize. I've just wrapped through a lot of things because I'm assuming everybody here knows what is Agile. I'm just talking about it. Yeah? Things to do in Scrum. Project backlog is project product is described as a list of features. The features are described in user stories. You can estimate using planning poker. Usually people don't like it. My manager doesn't like it. I showed him the poker. But each one of us have a different way of assigning the points. The features are in the backlog. They're ranked by importance. I forgot to mention on that. You can actually prioritize it. Yeah? And then you discuss in your stand-up. Yeah? Are we out of time? Cool. Okay, almost to the top. See, it's right there. Almost to the top. So, we have seen what is Agile. We have seen how it accelerates software development. You go slow and steady, but you still, slow and steady does not win the software race. We need smaller chunks to deliver the whole product, and we just zip through the whole Scrum cycle. That's it. This is the mountain we just climbed. Thank you. If you want to argue, if you want to contact me, that's me, Salesforce Ninja on Twitter. That's my email address. It works. And that's my website. It's all out there if you want to contact me. And again, I'll be at the Salesforce 1.2 at the Cognizant booth. If you guys still want to talk, have some offline discussion, you can have it there for a long time. Yeah? That's it. Thank you.
questions?
Questions? That's it.
I have a very cheeky question. So, Agile allows you to iteratively build your way to a solution. How would you approach a market force problem, given that it was supposed to get it right the first time?
No, so you say you have to get it right first time, right?
That's the advice that's being given.
First time doesn't mean that the first time that you first time is where it is shown to the entire end user systems, right? You can still have the project manager into your team, build it, break it, build it in the cycle, and the final product is your first time. You don't have to show it, release it for all the users in the first day. Just show it for the test user. You move it from there.
Where do you get the whole picture? Let's say my client comes in.
Yeah.
And his first question is how long it is going to take.
True.
How do I tell him? Like then he can arrange people to come from the rest of it.
True. So that's where you break it down into features, you have an idea of how long those features are going to take, right? You don't know exactly in detail of what it's going to take, but you have an idea of how it's going to take, how many sprints you're going to take, right? And that's the estimate you give them.
But you do the actual requirements in your sprints. So how do you know how many sprints you're going to do?
No, so sprints will always be fixed. So you put the timeline fixed. You set the sprint duration fixed. You split your features across it, right? Now, if you actually estimated less or more, that's you have to go and talk to your Scrum Master. But usually they will set it up, estimate it in a way, and that's what they're expert in, right? They will set it up in such a way that it's perfect, it fits in your go live date, all right? Now, there is a caveat here. If your requirement changes, obviously the go live date changes. So everybody is aware of that. So if everything goes smoothly, you tell them 15 sprints, you actually deliver it on 14th, and 15th sprint you can just enjoy without telling them it's done.
I have a question actually. We already covered this, but what's in an ideal Agile project? Do you need a project manager if you have a Scrum Master?
There is no ideal Agile project. But you still need a project manager.
Okay.
Agile is not a project management methodology.
Yeah. And so even if you focus on individuals, people always find ways to escape their responsibilities. So
I actually wanted to go back to that question over there. There doesn't have to be a fixed amount of sprint cycles because you're in an ideal world, you're continuously developing
Yeah.
those. But I think the piece that we run into, especially here in consulting, is that nobody wants to do that. They
Yeah.
want to have an actual endpoint
exactly.
with a UAT. Nobody wants just accounts and contacts and nothing else.
Exactly. No, and good point about UAT, right? UAT also takes a lot of time. If you wait till the end of the project, till go live, in your UAT, they will change your basic requirements. They will always change your requirements. That's not how it works. You have to test what you gave us and you have to give us sign-up. No, I don't want it here today. So getting those UAT people into your sprint cycle, giving them a go live and play with this, whatever we have built in the sprint. Let them play along with it. By the time you reach a UAT, you already know what you have been delivered, what you are delivering. So that's how we did it. They already know what they're getting. They have already given us all the companies that they have. Yeah?
Would you recommend anything specific for Salesforce projects for Agile approach compared to other Agile?
This is something that Salesforce recommends to their own customer. Trust each other. Salesforce tells us to their customer first day they walk in. No one from Salesforce, right? No? Trust us. Trust in each other. That's the simplest thing that I'll tell you.
Doesn't always work.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. Anyone?
Last, yeah?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I think in my experience, I have seen the perfect kind of, or you can say the working agile model always doesn't work.
True.
Large kind of integration. So I'm giving you a system that you're building from scratch. Where you have Salesforce, you have Microsoft X, you have three kinds of on-premise systems. There are some legacy migration happening. So you have a big kind of mess over there. We're trying to build much more mess on the
True.
That ends.
It also depends on the maturity of the organization. They could have Agile on some individual projects and runs perfectly, but then when you take it up a notch and you have
So, but
across teams, then it breaks down.
ultimately you need to go up to a particular integration box, right? So, when that's the foundation for further building. So, once you have achieved that, then you can put Agile on.
Okay.
Before, until that, Agile.
No, again, everyone will have a different experience in implementing Agile. It again depends on your team, the team structure that you have. How are you actually going to implement it, right? I'll just take 2 minutes and I'm done, yeah? But I'll tell you, I've seen the perfect Agile implementation. There's this team in Bangalore and the company we met them in one of the startup events and they actually gave us a demo of what they were building and all. And they were pure Agile, they were going pure Scrum. And they told us, this is what we are building this sprint. Maybe you join us for a show and tell. Okay, fine. They were building products. And they said, one day we are going to take over Google. I'm like, good for you. That's not going to happen. That's what I said. But they actually did. They actually took a few clients from Google. That team was called Zoho. Zoho CRM is still out there in the market. They're still very slow. They're still very behind. But they're still making a lot of noise. And they're still doing it. They're still improving their products. They have a wide range of products. They have snatched a couple of clients from Google, actually snatched people who have switched over, and that team actually built pure Agile. They were all set. They knew what they were doing. They knew who were doing it. They knew what exactly everything was. I was very impressed. They never hired me. I asked them.
Yeah, so another old version of a stupid question. As a consultant, when you're going into all these sort of agile methodologies to choose from, do you sort of base it on the team, the business, the project,
So it's depending on individual projects really. So most clients prefer to have their own project manager. If they have, then that manager would have their own preference. So it's about aligning with what most of the team knows stuff. But majority of our work does on Scrum. I've just done one project on Kanban because the manager actually decided to teach us that. But most of it is Scrum. And even Salesforce professional services also prefer Scrum. So most of them use Scrum. Yeah? That's it?
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.